What up, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Vinny Dangerous, and I'm back with another episode of the Dangerous Minds podcast. Usually in the beginning, before we get things started, I would like to do my shout-outs and appreciations, but you know what? We're just going to get right into this one because I have a lot to say. We might do all the announcements and stuff at the end, but right now we just need to focus on the situation at hand, and it is with my brother, Colin Kaepernick. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, might be 3 weeks by now, Colin Kaepernick has decided to take a stand against injustice, against people in this country. He never specifically said, but we all know when you speak about police brutality and the unfair treatment of the victims, it's usually when you talk about black people. And he has decided to take a stand against the National Anthem by refusing to stand up during the playing of the song before every game. And he has done it for the last 2 preseason games with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, originally when I heard of this story, I was kind of unfazed just because I thought, oh, this is cool. You know, I'm thinking like, it's cool. I appreciate him taking a stand, but I didn't think it would blow up the way it did. It was kind of cut and dry to me. I'm tired of seeing people get hurt and killed and by the people that are supposed to protect them. And it seems that not only the police officers, but the people, you know, like the justice system itself, the American justice system itself is just letting this walk and letting this go under the rug. And I decided I don't want to stand for the song because it's not representing to me what it's meant to represent. I mean, that's kind of like, you know, when you hear rappers, you know, tell you that their persona is this and that. Like, yo, I'm a gangster, I'm hard, I'm this, I'm that. And then they stand up in front of court and they're like, no, it's just music. It's just songs. This is just what I do to feed my family. It's kind of like the National Anthem. Like, are these lyrics real or are they just lyrics to a song? I mean, you know, right now it's starting to look like, you know, fairy tales and shit. Like could have been something written for a Disney movie. But, you know, I thought it was kind of cut and dry. It's kind of like, hey, he's taking a stand. That's what's up. I support you. And I kind of left it at that. But over the past week, I have run into a lot of people. And I've, you know, heard a lot of discussion online and, you know, through radio and television. There's been other athletes, other football players that have spoken out against and for Colin Kaepernick. It's been a big hot button. Like, you know, white people have really shown their ass over this situation. I haven't seen white people this furious since, well, okay, I have, you know, with the Gabby Douglas thing. And pretty much anytime you try to bring up Black Lives Matter and you know, just any time when that stuff happens, they rear their ugly head for real. But it's just like, you know, and I just, you know, and I've even heard this at work. I'm not going to say where I work, but at my job, we have a little bit of diversity. We have a lot of black people, we have a lot of white people. It's kind of like split down the middle almost, in terms of, you know, the population of the people that work there. And, you know, the conversation has come up, and there's been 2 particular answers that really dug under my skin, and it really sums up the outrage on the other side. Like, the people that are for Colin Kaepernick, and it actually proves him right when you say stuff like that in your, you know, in your argument of trying to prove him wrong. Okay, so one, the question was brought up twice. It was on, I think, Monday and Tuesday. The first answer that really dug under my skin was on Monday. First thing in the morning, guy comes in and asks, hey, how do you feel about, you know, the Colin Kaepernick situation? That he's refusing to stand for the National Anthem until he feels that justice is being brought to everyone in this country, not just a select group of people are feeling it and another select group of people are being impressed. And then the guy, you know, older white gentleman, spoke up and he said, I can see what he wants to do, but I don't think he's educated enough to take the stand that he's taking. Or he's not educated enough on the situation to take the stand that he's taking. Now that already had me hot, because it doesn't take a rocket science to see right from wrong. It doesn't take a rocket science to say, hey, when somebody usually gets killed, when somebody kills another person, the person who did the killing is supposed to go to jail. There's other factors like self-defense and, temporary insanity. But even those type of people get some kind of punishment. They go to an asylum or something like that. But, the general consensus is that if you shoot somebody and kill somebody, you go to jail. But it doesn't seem to be going on with the police officers. So that's a problem. That's right from wrong. I think you could show a child or explain that situation to a child and, children too. And they would tell you, yeah, I don't think that's right. So how much education does somebody need to really do that? So that already had me hot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know I do my podcast. I don't get into those type of situations at work because it just becomes an issue. It's like I'm taking a stand, towards them. It's like, you're nobody. You're working on the same level I am. I don't really feel like I'll need to convince you of anything. So the next day, same topic comes up. No. This one really had me hot because it was another situation. The video came out of police officers running into a 80-year-old woman's house, 80-year-old black woman, and the cop, she's just asking like, what's going on? Why are you in my house? You just broke into my house. She's just trying to figure out like what the deal is. It's late at night. She's obviously startled because she's in like her gown, like she's ready to go to bed, and without any type of signs of threat or anything like that, she is pepper sprayed in the face, like viciously, by these police officers who are all dressed in SWAT. Like when I'm watching the video, I'm looking at this woman in her nightgown and her hair cap, just ready to go to bed. And these police officers are in like full SWAT gear. This ain't even just patrol cops. These are like 4 cops at the least. And they're in full SWAT gear, head to toe. What threat did this woman have of you? You just pulled out that pepper spray for no reason at all. That woman was frail. She's older. She is just tired and confused of why all this commotion is going on in her house. So we show another one of my white coworkers this, and he is younger. He's like right around my age, and he looked frustrated watching it. But for another reason, he said when he looked at the video, well, we don't know the whole story. I was like, why do you need to know the whole story? Just like I said, it's 4 cops at the least in SWAT gear, and you have this frail older woman in a nightgown. She don't even have any pockets to try to hide anything to attack these police officers, even if they felt that threatened. Like, what was the purpose? What was the point of doing it? Why do you need to know the whole story? So now I speak up and I say, well, what if it was your grandmother? Or what if it was somebody in your family that was older and like all these cops just run up in their house and they pepper spray? He's like, well, yeah, I'd be mad. And I'm like, exactly. You wouldn't be asking what the whole story is. But it doesn't even have to be your family. It could be, one of your coworkers here. I feel like if it was me, you would probably want to know, well, what did I do? Or what did I do to bring that on myself? And that's probably why the cops had to take the action that they took. But if it was one of your other white coworkers, you would think, wow, they are wrong for this. You would be outraged. You would be upset. And you wouldn't even want to know the whole story. You wouldn't even have video footage of it. And you would still know in the back of your mind that these cops are out of line. But you know him just as much as you know me. We work together. We don't hang out. We have conversations here and there. But for the most part, when we go on after we clock out and go our separate ways, You don't know me, and I don't know you. I could be a Harvard graduate. He could be a crack addict, but we both come to work and do the exact same thing, and you know the same amount of information about me that you know about him. Only difference is you both can sympathize with each other because you're white. And that's the only reason why you look at me and you look at other black people when they get injustice put upon them because of police officers, and you look at you're one of your white counterparts and the same situation happens to them, you have two different reactions because you don't know me, I don't know, you don't know him, I don't know you. You just know that there are certain things about how black people are treated that you feel are being brought upon themselves because of their attitudes and their actions. So you question it and you think that you can put us all in a category and say that you probably did something because black people are known to act out. But then when one of your white people, as some shit happened to them, all of a sudden you don't have these questions. You just got a solution. You got that these people need to be brought to justice. That's all you care about. And that is pretty much the same situation with this Colin Kaepernick situation. That's why I put those two stories together, because it was two examples of the reason why this outrage is being put upon him for this song. And it's not the same outrage that you get when you see black people getting killed in the street. You have all these questions. You don't have these questions for Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, you just have outrage. You're not even trying to see, not even trying to see his point of view. You just see that what he's doing isn't right. So that's Monday. That's Tuesday. Then Wednesday, Hot 97, which I'm more of and who knows, when I get to that point, I'm doing interviews with these guys. This might come up in conversation later. Well, guess what? Anything I say on my podcast, I stand behind 100%, and we can have it out on radio if it comes down to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Hot 97, Peter Rosenberg, Ebro in the Morning. They got on a 20-minute video on their YouTube channel. They came out on Wednesday. Well, no. It might have came out before. I just happened to see it on Wednesday. I'm on my lunch break trying to find some stuff to watch. And so, it's like Colin Kaepernick, whose side you're on. That's what the video's called. And, I went into it thinking, Peter Rosenberg is hip-hop. Anytime, something happens, with the Black Lives Matter thing, he always kind of seems to have, the side of the victim in these situations. But in this particular case, he said that, I understand what he's doing, but I always feel so uncomfortable with people not standing up for the national anthem. And he said it, and it was almost like it's just like two different guys. He was in kind of chameleon mode, because he's like, maybe I would feel better if he put a black fist on, and he, stood, put his hand up. No, he put his fist up during the national anthem. That probably would have been better. And in my mind, I'm like, so you're going to tell somebody how they should protest, how they should express their outrage. You're telling somebody that, quite frankly, other than the fact that you're a hip-hop radio personality, you have really no kind of connection with the black experience, and you don't know the kind of outrage. He would still be getting the same kind of outrage, and people would still feel the same type of disrespect. But guess what, sir? It has already been done before. It has already happened. Now you just look like a copycat. I mean, what's the difference? I'm not doing exactly what you want me to do when that song comes on. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. It really isn't as much different as me starting to sit down. I put my fist up. People don't want that response when that national anthem come on. They want you to have your hand over your heart and a tear in your eye while that gun is pointed in the back of your head by that police officer. And they're just going to watch your blood trickle down that flag once the song is over. And that pissed me off. And then Ebro's going hard. Like, he's just scolding Colin Kaepernick for what he's doing. And that pissed me off. it was like these guys swear up and down that they hip hop, they this, they that, but then when it comes down to situations like this, every once in a while they want to rear their ugly head and want to show their true feelings is that they don't understand. And honestly, I'm starting to feel like if you're not black, you shouldn't really have to comment on this situation because you don't know what the hell's going on. You just see what you're used to. Just like I said, when my coworkers, when I asked him if it was your family, if it was your peoples that was pepper sprayed by these cops just busting up in their house, how would you feel? Would you be asking questions or would you feel outraged? It's the same thing. You don't understand our experience, but you understand that flag because that flag represents everything on your side of the spectrum, but not ours. You feel disrespected. The fact that you feel like anybody feels outraged by this, that basically Colin Kaepernick is saying that I don't want to stand up for that flag or that song because the flag is not standing up for me. And that courtroom is not standing up for me. Those police officers that are sworn in are not representing me. There's even veterans that are like, you have a right to stand or not. That is the freedom of choice. We supposedly live in the freest country, but whenever somebody has freedom of speech that speaks out against your normal way of thinking, then it becomes an issue, and you shouldn't do it. Like, I did a podcast last week. It was called Difference in Opinion, and everybody's going to have a difference in opinion. But for some situations, when it comes down to right and wrong, there are only two answers. There is right and there's wrong. Your opinion is either right or wrong in this situation. And, some people really feel so strongly about a song and a flag and a tradition that is held in this country that, well, come to think of it, when you really look at the history of it, the history of this country is also riddled with the tradition of ignoring the minority and supporting the privileged majority in this country. So it really doesn't surprise me, but it's just that you're wrong, and that's flat out. That's why I give props to Charlamagne the God. I gotta, because those two are like the rival radio stations, I'm gonna pick sides this week, but Charlamagne's been cut dry. He's like, I don't understand why everybody is on the fence about this, or why you want to be on the fence about this, or why you're on the opposite side. It's like, hey, these lyrics in this song and that flag that is supposed to represent freedom and justice for all is not representing freedom and justice for all when justice isn't being served, and a man that decides to sit down and protest during the National Anthem is not free to make that decision on his own. It's cut dry, period. You don't have an argument against Colin Kaepernick, and that's bottom line. And you know what? I shouldn't even be that upset when it comes to the white response, because let's face it, they're going to side with what they know. They are going to side with who represents them. Those police officers represent them because they protect them without any issue. Like, there's been times I've seen on the news that they've put like, hey, this white person has been killed by the police, and people are silent. But then I'll go back and read, and then that person goes to jail. The cop goes to jail for what happened. Or then there's more to the story. They just try to flip it to make it seem like it's not always a black thing. It may not be every time, but I'm just saying, sometimes you don't take the information you get on Facebook as 100%. So, but for the majority of the time, when a cop kills somebody unarmed and gets away with it, it's usually black or Latino. Bottom line. So when I shouldn't be outraged at this time. Like I said this earlier in the week. I'm tired of seeing the NAACP or representatives from the Nation of Islam, or just anybody that wants to get up on CNN and MSNBC, and especially Fox News, and wants to argue with Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, or whoever else they decide to pull out their ass this week. That one little 23-year-old white woman that gets donkey of the day every fucking week, it seems like. I don't even really know her name. I just know her face, and I hate her face. When they come out and they say what they say, I shouldn't even be surprised. The people that surprise me, though, is when it's one of our own. Like I said earlier, there have been other athletes that have come out and spoken against Colin Kaepernick, mainly black athletes. And I even wrote a little piece on the Instagram page. If you're not following, go follow at Dangerous Minds Podcast on Instagram. But my post said, after reading Jerry Rice's response, because it's been a few people. It's been Jerry Rice. It's been Victor Cruz. It's been some others that have just come out and like either they've been, soft-handedly doing it, or they full out disagreed with him or whatever. And it's just like, I don't understand why y'all going at him. The one that Jerry Rice pissed me off the most, especially when you go to his Instagram page and you see he's dating a white woman, and it kind of just furthers that stereotype that black men that date white women lose their blackness, because when situations happen with their people, they act like they don't know us. That's another Michael Jordan diss too. But all right, so this is what I said. First of all, let's go with what Jerry Rice said. Jerry Rice said, all lives matter, right then and there, like, fuck you, sir. Then he says, so much going on in this world today. Can we all just get along? Colin, I respect your stance, but don't disrespect the flag. So I said, in response to this, let me just share my thoughts for a second. I hate when I see shit like this. It pissed me off more than seeing white people talk smack, because I've come to expect it from them. But when black people talk about other black people taking a stand for us, I get sick to my stomach with rage. You're so quick to talk about one of your own instead of standing by him when he is trying to take a stand for you. And looking back at your career, Jerry Rice, you haven't spoke up once about anything plaguing the black community. So I think you should shut up right now like you've done all before. So to the athletes like Victor Cruz, Jerry Rice, and the other guys that have come out, other guys that respect their paychecks more than their people, I ask you to either stand with your brother or stay silent. Trust me, no one would have noticed if you chose the latter. So I need you to understand, I don't fucking respect that. It's the same beef with Warren Sapp. It's the same beef with Charles Barkley. When y'all come out and y'all speak against your brother like that, I don't get it. Oh, by the way, can we put out a missing persons report out for Cam Newton? Because he has not shown up this season. From his "we're all one race" comment after last season, making the I'm a black quarterback that has done things that they haven't seen before, and it's scaring them. The same guy that said that last season, that has been spooked into saying that we're all one race and we shouldn't be above race. That's not the same guy that is showing up for this season. And for him dancing around him not picking a stance, during when he was asked about the Colin Kaepernick situation, him not taking a stance, saying that who am I to say if he's right? Who am I to say if he's wrong? I just don't understand the big deal about 1/8 of an inch of skin that has made us so different. Well, guess what? It's a prejudice thing. Trust me, it's not our choice. They have chosen it. So let's just say that if you don't pick right from wrong, you're pretty much wrong at this point. The person to stay neutral might as well have been negative. You might as well have been Jerry Rice. You're not. So maybe the new phrase should be, are you Colin Kaepernick, are you Jerry Rice, or are you Cam Newton? Are you on the right side, or are you on the wrong side, or are you just indecisive? So I would like to put out a missing persons report for Cam Newton. It really pains me to say this, but I would really need him to find his balls before he get on the field, because as a Carolina Panthers fan, We're going to need a man out there to lead the team to victory. We don't need somebody that's got their balls left in those white people's purses and pockets. Because I don't think that Cam Newton is going to win the Super Bowl. Just an early prediction. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, but if it don't happen, I'm just going to assume that they took his balls and put them in a jar, and now he is another Jake Delhomme for the Carolina Panthers. But yeah, so when I see black people outraged, and I see military black people, I even asked the guy on Facebook earlier this week that was so upset and so outraged about it. So I asked him, are you a black man first or are you a soldier first? That is the dilemma that in the situation that you have put yourself in. Are you black first or are you a soldier? Because at that point, you're shut down. You're crying on the inside because you don't know. You're a black man, yes, and you've given so much to the military. And I'm not disrespecting anybody that has sacrificed for the military, because guess what? Your sacrifices were not in vain. Just know that those sacrifices were not for everybody. Those freedoms and justices that you went over and bombed countries and children and, bystanders, those people that had nothing to do with the war that we're currently or were fighting in. I don't even know if it's still going on at this point or not. I'm kind of confused. Those situations were not for everybody. Because there are people in this country that benefit, and there's people from this country that are just kind of here, and they're just trying not to get shot because they know if they get shot, then nobody's gonna get brought to justice. Even military. I've seen so many black military that come home to nothing, and not saying that their families are not there. They don't get the warm hero welcome, or they don't get the love and respect that their other counterparts get because of who they are. I've seen veterans getting treated like shit in this country. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, it don't matter. They get treated like shit when they come back. Like, how many times I see people when I'm driving through the city and I see a guy holding up a sign that says he's a homeless vet. And it's just in my mind, I don't think that's right. Also don't think that people's outrage to Colin Kaepernick is right. I don't think that the fact that there isn't freedom and justice for all in a country that boasts and brags about it every time you hear about America, you don't see it, and it's just, I don't think that's right. So I need you to ask yourself this question. To the white people that are outraged at Colin Kaepernick, do you care about black people? When you talk about that, I want you to answer that question. Because if you can't answer that question or you avoid that question, then the answer is obviously no. To the black people that are outraged at Colin Kaepernick, and that includes the athletes, and that includes the common man, the veterans, I need you to understand and look down at your skin and then realize that somebody that is only half of us is more willing to make these kind of sacrifices, that has everything to lose at this point, just to bring awareness to the fact that we get treated like shit and nobody seems to fucking care. I need you to really look down and wonder, are you an American or are you black? Because the way that things have been going, you really can't be both. And that is the Dangerous Minds podcast for this week. Like I said, follow the Instagram page at Dangerous Minds Podcast. At Dangerous Minds Podcast, all one word on Instagram. Of course, go to www.vinnydangerous.com to catch up with any of the old episodes you have missed. And I've just made the announcement that I'm doing my single release show on the 24th at the Shed in Durham, as special guests Tracy Lamont, Jones Michael, and Camus Leonardo. They're going to be performing with me. Much love to those brothers. Colin Kaepernick, I stand with you. I'm with you 100%. And for everybody that is against him, you can go fuck yourself. It's been the Dangerous Minds podcast, and I'll see you soon.